He has a chance, sneaker executives will tell you, to maybe set a record for a rookie shoe contract coming out of college.
For more now, let's welcome in our Adrian Wojnarowski, who actually broke this news.
What can you tell us, Woj?
Adrian is here.
Among the NBA teams who have a chance to be at the top of June's draft lottery, there's a lot of curiosity about the status of Zion Williamson's knee. Teams trying to get a sense of the extent of the injury to the All-American forward who's the consensus #1 pick. Duke has established the fact that they expect him to return this season, and teams know this. There's no injury here that would make anybody pause about Williamson as the #1 overall pick. You know, the idea of playing again this year is still grounded in a few factors. Number one, trying to win a national championship at Duke and a deep NCAA tournament run that's still going to be worth millions for him in endorsement money. He has a chance, sneaker executives will tell you, to maybe set a record for a rookie shoe contract coming out of college. The year at Duke for Williamson not only has propelled him into an unquestioned #1 overall pick status, but people seeing his personality, the kind of teammate he is, and really how versatile his game is, maybe more so than people thought when they saw him really more as a dunker in high school, as a highlight film guy. NBA teams, as our Mike Schmitz will tell you, see him as a small ball center potentially in the NBA. But for Williamson to return, there remains money on the table and an ability to go out and maybe put himself in a position endorsement-wise, unlike any player we've seen come out of college since LeBron James came out of high school nearly a decade and a half ago. There are two issues standing in the way to the end of the one-and-done era in college basketball and the NBA allowing high school players back into the draft, and it's this. Number one, the NBA wants the Players Association to work with them on getting more players involved in more ways at the draft combine every year. You've seen in recent years some top prospects skipping the combine altogether, while the league doesn't expect, that solid first-round players, certainly lottery players, to perform in front of NBA teams. Players have already established their draft status. They would like those players there to do interviews, to get measurements, to meet with sponsors, do a lot of the ancillary things leading into the June draft. But more importantly, from the NBA's point of view, they want access to physical information on players accessible to all of their teams. And the agents for players have felt through the years that the only real leverage they have in the draft process, it's medical information. Agents are able to keep certain teams from seeing players' physicals, their medicals, problematic parts of their body that teams might be interested in, and allowing other teams to see that information. And that's something that front offices and owners have told Adam Silver that they want to see an end to. And the union and the agents have been steadfast in pushing back on that. And that's going to be the more difficult issue to negotiate. There's optimism on both sides. Both sides want to see the rule lowered. But it's a negotiation. It's going to continue here for the foreseeable future. The Phoenix Suns finally did win a game on Monday night. They beat Miami, ending a 17-game losing streak. This is an organization that is in a spiral in almost every way, and it's a concern for the NBA. Owner Robert Sarver has not seemed to learn a lot of lessons through the years about his management style, his hands-on nature, and his ability to put an infrastructure in place and allow it to build an organization. Right now, James Jones is his interim general manager, just a couple years retired from the NBA. And Jones has had a rather unorthodox view toward the NBA draft. There's not a lot of scouting going on in Phoenix. He's not on the road a lot. I'm told that he's considered the idea of hiring a president of basketball operations that would perhaps oversee James Jones. Hasn't started on interviewing candidates for that, but it certainly is a consideration and probably a pathway to at least get somebody in Phoenix with the experience, the resume of running an NBA organization, running it successfully. But there's no question, from the league office to teams around the league, there's a lot of raised eyebrows at Phoenix and how they're operating right now. And this is another crossroads for Robert Sarver to figure out how to get this team from really a state of disrepair back on the path into relevancy even before they consider the idea of being contenders again. Since New Orleans fired general manager Dell Demps, Danny Ferry, who had been an advisor in the front office, has moved into the day-to-day interim GM role and really taken on the Anthony Davis issue, sat down with Davis, talked about how they would move forward with his minutes, Mickey Loomis, Gail Benson, the hierarchy in New Orleans. They had planned to do a search and hire a search firm to go out and look for a new president of basketball operations, general manager. But I think New Orleans feels as they look around the league, they may not find a more qualified candidate in terms of his ability to run an organization of utmost importance in New Orleans. It's managing this Anthony Davis situation, and then for ownership to decide who's going to make the decision on ultimately trading him. It's a decision that certainly hovers over this organization. It'll be as important of a process as this organization has probably over the next decade, because what they get back for Anthony Davis in a trade, is really going to set the course for this organization's future. Right now, they're allowing Danny Ferry, to come in and run the day-to-day and see if there's possibly a fit long-term there between Ferry and the organization. Thanks everyone for watching ESPN's YouTube channel. Please subscribe and look out for future editions of the Woj Report.